Okay. Welcome to another special, very special. And I'll tell you the reason why it's special. Because when it comes to children, children are very special to every one of us. This is a special edition of the Daily Talks. And our guest today, she'll be up on the screen very shortly, runs a charity that looks after children, the welfare of disadvantaged children in Ghana and the United Kingdom. I'm talking about Irene Lockett, the founder and director of Sovereign House GH. Let's bring her up on the screen. Oh, there you are. Hello.
Hello, Deli. I'm very
Oh, we've been trying to get Irene to come on Daily Talks for a long time, but one thing or the other, and finally, at long last, eventually, whatever you want to say, here we are on Daily Talks with Irene Lockett, founder, director, Sovereign House GH. Welcome, Irene. How are you doing? Tell us.
Thank you very much to be on this program. Yes, I'm very well, and it's such an opportunity to come here and talk to people about what we are doing and the welfare of children. Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. It's a privilege for us to have you. And I can tell you a lot of people are excited about you coming on board. One of such persons is a member of our team, Jane. Jane kept telling me for months, when are you going to have the first female guest on Daily Talks Media? And I said, soon. And so not only do we have the first female vice president of the United States, president-elect, we also have the very first female guest on Daily Talks Media. Irene, you are welcome. I can't tell you how much what we're going to talk about really means a lot to me because it means a lot to Jesus. But before we go into all of that, there are lots of people who might be watching this live or recorded and are asking, who is Irene Lockett? Can I ask that question? Who is Irene?
Irene is what you say, very down to earth and just working hard to provide. But I grew up in Ghana and I had the opportunity of traveling to the Western world because of my parents' work. And that made me see the difference between the underprivileged and the privileged. And it gave me so much insight and knowing how much underprivileged children and the cycle continues gave me the heart, the passion to pursue this.
You know, one thing, when we were preparing for this program, you sent me a video which we've shown once or twice, which we actually did show that video this afternoon on Prayer Experience, our sister program. And each time I watch that, the very first scene that I see is children sprawled across the floor, sleeping, some of them without clothes on their body. And when I saw that, it broke my heart. And it will break the heart of anybody who's got the Spirit of God in them. Is this a real picture of what's going on right now in Africa?
Yes, what you saw in the video is real pictures. Actually, they are taken from parts of video. And a lot of children or a lot of orphans are stigmatized. Some are treated as second class citizens. They don't have a lot of opportunities presented to them. And even those who are living with families, a lot of them are being used as house helps and they don't have the opportunity of going to school. So they don't have any future, let's say. And those who are in the home is trying so much to provide for these children, but with limited resources, their capacity and their ability is very limited. So these children end up lying on the street. They don't have a sense of belonging. They don't have the nature and the love that we should give. We know the orphans are is the heart of God, as in James 1:27. And if the orphans do not experience that love, how do they grow up to now share love with others without any self-confidence or self-worth? It's
You know,
really a problem that is
one
done.
of the things I found out as I was preparing for this is I just couldn't believe it. I had to check and check again. And what I'm about to say now is a study conducted by World Bank and UNICEF. It says 75% of children that are living under the poverty line, 75%. I had to look at it again and again. 75% reside within the sub-Saharan Africa, which includes Ghana, Togo, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Zambia, all that place. I can't believe the amount and the level of poverty that exists among children, because you're looking at these are vulnerable, the vulnerable, like you said, the disadvantaged. Just before we go a little further into that aspect, why Sovereign House? You could have been doing anything else. You're brilliant. You're professional. You've got all the qualification. Why did you go into Sovereign House? What's the catalyst behind you doing this? Looking after children who are disadvantaged.
I would say it's probably in the DNA because I saw my grandmother and I saw my dad paying the school fees of so many other children who didn't belong to them. But also, when I was a teenager, I had a prophetic word that you would build a home for them, my children. And I didn't really make much of it. But, as you grow up, life experiences pulls you towards your calling or your purpose. And then later on, I heard clearly, you have to build. That's where the name comes from. You have to
Wow.
build a sovereign house for my children where they would grow up with the knowledge of me,
So
rooted.
you were a teenager when somebody gave you a prophetic word that you will build a home for children, and you kept that all through. That is vision. That is vision.
It
That is vision.
shaped my life and it shaped my decisions and it shaped my calling. Yes, it's part of
Was
my, yeah.
was it a case like you were always waiting for the right opportunity to embark on this journey?
I would say yes. And even throughout, before even setting up the charity, I was helping so many children through education or through life. And it just went along until I was pushed, circumstances, or more not pushed, circumstances made it possible for me to set up the charity officially.
Wow. Wow. What will push a child to sleep out there with no duvet? Some of those children I saw didn't even have a duvet to cover themselves. And we saw some of them. We saw there was a picture my wife saw of a little boy rolling, this vehicle tire, one of the tires of a vehicle. And is that his Lego? Is that his own way of, expressing his childhood? Because in England here, you see children go to Legoland Discovery, people, children go to some of these really posh places. But that child was out there somewhere, possibly in the middle of the street, and rolling that. You know what? Let's see that again. For those of you who haven't really seen it, let's play that video again, and then we can continue from where we stop. Just a minute, we'll be back.
Yeah.
That is touching. You know what gives me hope? That last picture of those three kids with a smile on their faces, that they may not have the best of the best, but they are happy with the little that they get.
And that's
What is one of the most difficult cases that you've had to deal with working with some of these children?
we've had so many because we deal with their education, their healthcare. But I think one of the most difficult, I would say, is Abigail. She's an orphan and she had kidney failure. So being an orphan and having kidney failure is not a good combination.
No.
And we did take her to India to have a kidney transplant, and she's back in Ghana now. But the challenges we face to take her out of Ghana, one, as an orphan, because this is sad to say, but sometimes one person actually told me, "Why are you bothering doing this?" And this
Wow.
is what I'm talking about. This is a human being. This is somebody
Wow.
who has got every opportunity to leave. And then somebody says, a professional says, "Why are you even bothering?" And
Wow.
this is what we are trying to change. And it was a very challenging coordinating between Ghana, the UK, and India. Sometimes I have to set the phone to be able to talk to the doctors in India at 2 a.m. because of the time difference. But by God's grace, we managed to send her to India. She has the kidney transplant. She's back in Ghana now, and she's continuing with her life.
So
That's one of
Sovereign House paid for the medical bills and the transportation and everything.
yes, including the food that she, Abigail, the foster mother, and the donor ate, their accommodation, their plane fare. Even when they were in India, we had issues that we had to go through with the family because she was an orphan and the donor wasn't related to her. We had to pay for all of that, and we managed to have that. So we paid for everything right from day one, including the visa application. I was sitting here 2 a.m. and completing a visa application for the three of them. So it was right beginning from everything. And then the fundraising, and we had difficulties at some point, even getting the rest of the money, which we had to find money and put in to pay for the cost of the bills.
If you didn't do that, where will Abigail be now?
Probably dead.
Wow. Wow. How many children have you helped since Sovereign House began and you're still helping right now?
We have helped over 50 children, but at the moment we have about 73 children we are helping.
Wow.
And when the home is finished, we would have a minimum of 160 children who would have
Yeah.
their own place and be part of the family.
You talked about the home. What is the thing behind this home? Tell us, for somebody who doesn't have an idea of what you're talking about.
Okay. So we've seen from the video some of the pictures I showed you where these children all stay within probably one room and they grow up with no sense of belonging at all because a lot of the time they share everything, hand me downs, the child running with a tie. That was his toy, but they are very happy because they have so little given them. So this home is a family home, a blueprint home where these children would have their own bed. And your family, your child has their own bed, they have their own clothes, they have their own space, they have their own toy, even though they might share with their brothers and sisters. These children don't. So what we are building is a family oriented home where we sit together as a family, we learn, we eat, we study. They grow up with a sense of belonging to know that they are nurtured, they are cared for, they are loved. Not just that, they themselves will start believing in their self worth and confidence that, look, I'm not a second class citizen. I am loved. I am somebody. So they can grow up and then change the mindset of their peers and probably the mindset of our orphans are being seen.
You know, how did this vision? How did it evolve? How did you come up with it? Because I've seen the design of the house that I saw the design at the beginning when you had the architectural design. It looked impossible. It looked, from the physical standpoint, it was like, no, Irene, You must be crazy to want to embark on this and to look back now and see that building where it is now. Only God could have done this. How has the journey been for you, Irene? It must have been challenging and difficult sometimes.
Yes, it has been. The design is a blueprint that I vision that I got. So based on that vision, I had to keep going back to the architect, and we got the right vision that the Lord gave. So we're going strictly according to that. But in that, yes, it has been difficult. There have been times where you think, come on. And I remember so many times I've gone back to and said, Lord, you told me to do this. Why?
Mm.
Why am I having all these challenges? Why? But all through this, what I've learned is faith, trust, absolute belief in the Lord. That when He says He will do something, He will do it. Nothing will change it. And we just have to hold on to it. And through the challenges, we actually grow and we learn a lot as well.
I'm quite aware that you are a solid Christian, a woman of prayer. I know that. And for me, it delights my heart on DeleTalks Media that we have Christians who don't just talk the talk, but they also walk the walk. You know, it's not enough that we feel we're the light of the world, we're the salt of the earth, but we want to bring a change into the circumstances that we find around us. What better person will God use than somebody who's a Christian, who prays, who loves people? And I think you are one of those. But in all of these things, there's a question that I want to ask. What has been for you? Let me ask one. I'll split it in two: the success and what you would think it's you wish you could have done more in those areas.
Well, to have done more in those areas, I would think I would have wanted a home to be completed now. I
By
need,
now.
yes, I know it's a big one. Even the contractor says, why are you building a hotel for children? Because that's what he says. Because we're building it as a family home with all the high spec, to be honest, so that the children will grow in that family. And I wish we would have completed by now. But yes, we're now doing the interior. We're actually tiling the rooms and the walls. So hopefully we will finish now. But with success stories, where do I even start? By God's grace, we've got children who have completed university. We don't expect anything from them. If they come back to us, fine. If they don't, that's fine. Our job is done. We've got children who are still in university. We've got children in secondary school, high school. We've got children in junior high. We've got school and children in primary. And we've got children who are toddlers. And
Wow.
see, especially when one of the children completed. I mean, that is priceless. You can put a price on seeing this child who wouldn't have had the opportunity and has managed to complete university. One of the recent ones is, I'll say, Raymond. He wanted so much to go to school. And in the local school, he'll stand behind the window when the teacher is teaching, trying to look in. And they always send him back because he was looking dirty and then when he had the opportunity to go to school, we got his school uniform, his school bag, his shoes, everything. Once he entered the school, he was with Joyce. Joyce is also a product of Sovereign House. He just said, wait. He said it in airway at that time, wait. And you know what? He put his bag down and he just screamed and jumped high. I am in school.
Wow.
Then when
Wow.
he finished jumping around, he took his bag, said, now where's my classroom? That is pride.
Wow. Wow, that is so touching. That is so touching. This is the school that sometimes we have to drag children over here. They go for free, it's available there, they have everything, and we literally have to drag them here. But, it is what it is. And you find that over in Africa, I was sharing with you yesterday or so, I said, I can connect with some of those pictures I saw on the screen. This is real life. But what I couldn't really connect with is the fact that 2020, we still got children going to bed hungry. We still got children going to bed without clothes to wear. people who are watching right now can find out more about Sovereign House, are you available on website, Facebook? How can people get to know a bit more about Sovereign House?
The website, www.sovereignhousegh.com. We are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube. So yes, you can see, and we are always open. So you can contact us by email, by the website, and we always try and answer. We get a lot of emails.
I think it's one of those things you do as a Christian. You do it not expecting anything back from the children, because chances are that they might not even be able to do that, pay you back in any ways. But what drives us forward is vision. And in my heart, I'm asking, she must surely have had an encounter with God. Why bother? Why go into all of these? I'm aware of some of the stories where sometimes even the medical doctors will say to you, just leave them alone, let them, whatever happens to them. But you always fought for them. You always stood for these children. You always had a sense like a mother over these children, even though you might never know who their parents are in most instances. Some of them are orphans, so you've never met their parents or anything, but you do that. How important is it for us as Christians that we don't live for ourselves, but we go out of our way to help somebody else, especially children?
Well, first and foremost, that is our calling. Each of us is to help each other because that's what we're told, to look out for other, not self. I know we live in a selfish world, but you have to look out for other. But also, everybody has got a purpose and a destiny.
Yeah.
We are not on this earth for just to be here to survive. We are here for a reason. We are here for a purpose and we are here for a destiny. And if you are able to catch your vision and your destiny, and the only way you can is by asking the Holy Spirit to direct you. And if you are able to find your destiny and your purpose, it will drive you no matter the challenges to just fulfill because you just want to please your God, isn't it? You just want to please the Lord. He's done so much for us. Why should we not also live for Him and just please Him and do His work?
A lot of people, Irene, are really happy with what you're doing. People are saying, well done, thank you, God bless you. People are really, really pleased with what you're doing. But I guess God is pleased as well. I know it's not just in Ghana. Sovereign House is doing something in the United Kingdom as well. Just briefly, do you want to just highlight what you're doing in Salford, in Manchester?
Okay, yes. Salford is one of the poorest areas in the United Kingdom and within Manchester. And this is also part of the plan. We moved from London. How it was orchestrated that God moved us from London to Manchester. And then I started having a burning in my heart. So I started doing some research and I found that a lot of these children don't have computers at home. And you ask yourself, this is England or United Kingdom, is one of the richest countries in the world. And you have within a town, a city, that so many children don't even have access to computers. And they have parents or guardians who have no idea of computers. How do they even learn? And this has been highlighted more during this pandemic when we now see the exclusivity of these families but they have no IT background. They have no knowledge in computers. How do the children even fulfill their potential? Because they are lacking in education. And a child being out of school for even a week is almost like a year lost out of their life. And these children are missing out in education. So this has been highlighted. And now that's where we started with the computer learning program, which is free for the children. They come in and we teach them different aspects of computers. This is geared towards their life, future employability, not school. And to increase their confidence, but it's also not just about computers. We are teaching them life skills, self-worth, confidence, so many things they will need as they grow. and we are working together to find how we can address this so that children and families will be able to have computers at home. It's quite a challenge at the moment, but we are not stopping.
Does that not shock you and surprise you that in a land where you would think there's plenty in the United Kingdom, you still got? I know you still provide some form of refreshment for these children because some of them still haven't eaten at home
Yep.
here in the United Kingdom.
Well, let's say we just wanted to teach them a bit of life, and then we found we had to start feeding as well because a child says, "Miss, I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten.
Here
I
in
can't
England.
and I can learn." So, without even budgeting for it, well, we had to start finding refreshments so that these children can have a meal or snacks during their computer classes, which was something we had not even thought of or budgeted for. So these are some of the challenges that show up and come on that you have to deal with it. Yes, because adults are we are responsible for the children.
It does amaze you. Why don't we really care for children? What has happened to us as human beings? One of the scriptures I put out on DeleTalks Media yesterday was talking about Jesus Christ when he said, "Let the little children come to me, for of such is the kingdom of God." You cannot love God and despise children. You cannot love God and not want to have a heart to take care of children. And all we can say is something has happened to the human psyche. You face some of these challenges even in Ghana. What are the things that the children in Ghana really love to have that they don't have at the minute? What are the basic things that you think, like medicine? What will be for an average child in Ghana that will come into the home? What will be their basic needs? I think it's good for people to have an idea of what exactly we're talking about.
The bare necessity every human being needs: food,
Shoes.
clothing, shoes. But when you tell the children, Christmas coming up, say, "What do you want for Christmas?" Sometimes I'm almost scared to ask because they give you a whole list. And we try to accommodate and give them as much as possible. The whole thing is to see the children smile because that is what is important. And once they are happy, we are happy.
I know you were asking one time if people have got refurbished laptops or items they've thrown around the house they don't need. How can people listening now, people watching now, or people who will watch the record, how can they help you and Sovereign House? What are the practical things we all could do?
You could help with, I would say, gently used clothing because when we ask for clothing, some of the clothing we can't give to the children. So I would say gently used clothing, shoes, laptops, tablets, because these children need to learn. For the children in Ghana, they have to use mobile phones and we have to keep buying data to be able because we couldn't afford laptops during the lockdown. And some of the children in primary school are still at home with money to get some teachers, but it's to help them, but it's not very effective. Whereas they are connected to their schools is more important. So people can help by providing the bare necessities, which everybody needs: laptops, working laptops, refurbished laptops, and then also building materials and any way they think they can help. We are open.
Is anything too little to give?
No, nothing is too little to give. And we appreciate everything because when you have experience and seen the poverty these children have, and they are happy with them. Sometimes you're happy to even play with a bottle top of the drink, maybe any soda, and that they can create a game from it. They have
Wow.
so little and they are so happy with it. But we just
Wow.
try to provide as much as possible to them. So nothing is too little. We
Wow.
appreciate them.
Just for those of you who might be joining us maybe midway or a few minutes ago, I've been speaking with our guest on this very, very, very special. It's Heart rendering sometimes when you look at the plight of children in sub-Saharan Africa. And we saw a picture of children lying down with hardly a duvet to cover themselves. Many right now, as we speak, are going to bed without food to eat. Many right now are not in school because there's nobody to sponsor them in school. There's no free education in Ghana. But we can make a difference. We can make a change. Just before we look at concluding in the next 7-8 minutes, can we watch this video one more time? And then I'll come back to my special guest, and then we can finish up for today. Thank you. Okay, in just another 5 minutes, we'll be finished. But before we go, somebody said, when you look at those children towards the end, they're just smiling. They seem happy. Is that the thing you're saying over the next 5 years? What's your vision for these children? Let's assume the home is completed. What do you hope to achieve? What do you want to see with these children over the next 5 years, 10 years, possibly?
That is exactly what, to see the children happy as a family. As a family, what do? You take care of your children. You provide for their needs. You make sure they are nurtured. You make sure they go to school. You take care of their health care, but more importantly, their well-being, mentally, emotionally, physically. And that's what I want to see. I'm hoping that the home will be finished next year because we've been going for a while, but we're doing the internal. So I'm really
and it's
hoping.
possible, isn't it? If everybody listening to us now will do something, it is possible. You know, we are excited on DeleTalks Media. We want to really do a bit more and support Sovereign House in more ways, to highlight, to talk about what you're doing. And so we're going to have you again and again tell us the progress of the home. We want to see that home completed. We want to see those children moving. We want to see them have their first sleepover in there and just chill out and have a proper duvet covering themselves and having a good. That's what we want to see, and we're going to keep highlighting it. We'll be shouting it from the rooftop on Prayer Experience and all of our programs on the DeleTalk Media. That we can assure you. One of our team members was sharing with me. She said, I haven't seen the house. I'm just seeing the home now for the first time. I've been a partner with Sovereign House for several years, and I was so delighted and excited about that. Can you tell us in few words as we finish? I want you to speak and appeal to the people who are watching right now. Do you do you believe this is a possibility in 2021? That building.
Yes, I believe it's a possibility because even no matter the challenges, we've managed to continue building, progressing steadily. And what we see, you said the children, well, the way we are building the home, you and I can also sleep in there because what
Oh, I would love to. I would love to. I remember growing up in Africa. There was a time I was more privileged than a lot of these children growing up in Africa. I didn't see that level of need, thankfully. But there was a point in my life, it was very difficult, very, very difficult. I can't remember how old I was, but maybe 5 or 6 years old. We had a tragedy in the family, and things were really, really difficult. I was living with a family relation, and things were that bad that it was strangers. Strangers were the ones giving me food to eat. Sometimes you go to bed because there's nothing. There's just practically nothing to eat, and yeah, it was really, really tough. It was really, really tough. But I don't know who that stranger is, but God bless them wherever they are. God bless their children's children. The seed they've sown. Look at me today. Look at me today. I'm alive. I'm well. And that seed of a food, of a kindness will never die. When you support Sovereign House, it's an everlasting seed. You don't know what these children will become. I believe everybody that I may have blessed one way or the other in my own little way, the seed of that blessing can be traced back to those strangers that came into my life and said, Deli, come and have this food. And that kept me going. Any final words, Irene, before we go?
And thanks for sharing your experience because it brings home and drums home more. So what I would appeal to people is how they can support us by sponsoring the children educationally and how they can also support us to complete the building and what they can provide, laptops and as we've said, the bare necessities. That would really be welcome and that would help to give these children a brighter and a better future. Because as you say, we don't know how they would be. And to think of it, they are the leaders of tomorrow. They are going to make decisions that would affect and shape our lives. So I think we need to really invest in them.
Just go to sovereignhouse.com and you will find the donate button there. If you need to get in touch with Irene, you can do that. She's on Facebook. Just search for Irene Lockett. She's there. Inbox her. You can also volunteer, I'm sure, with the Sovereign House in different ways. You might say, I don't have in terms of material things, but I've got some time. How can I be of help? Even if you can't do all of that, you can pray. You can, make it a point of duty, 10 minutes every day, 5 minutes every day. Remember those children and pray for them. Irene, I can say how much this is pleasing to me that you were able to come today. What we've done today, you will never know the extent and the impact upon the people who are watching and listening to this. All we can say is thank you for what you are doing. Thank you for the sacrifice together with Phil. I cannot but mention Phil, your amiable husband, loyal to the core, and has always supported you. Phil, if you're watching this, top man, top man, top man. We are proud of you, man. And we pray that both of you will go on to do greater things for these children. Thank you very much. If you are with us, we've come to the end of this edition. Surely we will have Irene back with us. Thank you, Irene. Thank you.
Very much, Pastor Billy. We give
All
God all
right.
the thank you.
God bless you. Bye bye, everyone.